What is up? Lemon Taters here. This war video is from war number 5 of the season against XxX, XxX, whatever they call themselves. Okay, so we're just scouting here. I think right here, I'm thinking it's a 5-star dupe tech champ. I'm thinking that's a good spot for a Yondu. We got Mike Foreskin up here. He's got a 6-star Yondu, so I don't know if they would have a duplicate defender or not if they're going for full diversity. And then here, on node 27, a duped Cosmic Champ, and I'm just, whenever I scout, I'm just thinking, who is the scariest defender that could be here? And so I'm thinking, man, what if that's Medusa? That would suck. And I have died to Medusa on node 27 before. In fact, my second war with 4 Loki, I died to a 455 Medusa twice there. So you know, not the best start to my 4 Loki career, but anyway, so I don't know if they are full diverse. That's ultimately what I got from scouting. But I'm going to be taking in the same team, even if I knew that those nodes were Yondu and Medusa. So, first node is Unblockable 2, and it's a yellow jacket, and with Blade and Danger Sense, man, that fight is really fast. So, that is pretty easy. And then here, here's the moment of truth. Check this out. When I switch over, it reveals the PI because I'll be within 1 node, and of course I've got Scouter Lens, so it's a 455. I'm not sure that anybody would take. I'm not sure how many people would take Yondu to 455, but it's an Iron Man, and this is the second Iron Man that I have seen this season. And in fact, the first one was the Superior Iron Man that I saw in the war video that I posted previous to this one. But yeah, so I think that the idea here for the opposition when they're placing an Iron Man here is the enhanced abilities on the node should also enhance the regeneration that they get once they are at or below 15% health. So other than that, just diversity, and of course Iron Man, any of the Iron Men are pretty easy, well, except for the new one, but that's a totally different story. And at this point in the season, I know that this war actually happened like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't know, man, I'm so behind, but at this point in the season, nobody knew what Infinity War Iron Man was going to be like. So, okay, so I'm going into this fight with Magik. You saw there's a 345, so that makes me feel a little bit better that it's not a Medusa. Of course, it's not a Medusa. I see that now. And all I'm trying to do here is, once he throws his special, he is going to get his Spider Sense. And I'm just playing it safe, as you guys have seen. And so I just let that timer expire before I start attacking again, and throw this L3, and this should finish him off really easily. It does. But I also do want to make one little comment. So when I call these videos "How Not to Die in War," there is a reason I call them that, and it's not to be boastful or anything like that. It is because my goal every single war is to not die, and sometimes that means fighting in a style that is not necessarily the most skilled, or sometimes even the most efficient, but it's the safest. So it is different, and I've seen some feedback like you know, I should be intercepting more. I should try to avoid taking black damage on certain nodes. You know, you can evade this part of that kind of stuff, which of course I appreciate any and all feedback. But for the most part, when I'm going into these fights, I'm going into these fights with a very conservative approach. I do not care about taking black damage. That does not concern me whatsoever. I have pots. I can heal up if I need to after a fight if I take a lot of black damage. the goal is just to not die, and sometimes that means playing, you know, suboptimally versus kind of, you know, what the most skilled player might play. So anyway, I just wanted to make that comment and also talk over that Loki fight, since it was really kind of not very exciting. But Loki there, by the way, same as always. Parry bleed, build up my special, launch an L2. But here we have a 455 skill champion on unblockable 1, and it's a Taskmaster, so this is interesting. Taskmaster's L1 has a projectile component, but it's not the first component. And of course, you guys all know that the unblockable specials, you only have to evade the first component. Everything else is indeed blockable. So Taskmaster with Blade and Danger Sense against villains is really not an issue. You know, Taskmaster can get tricky once he starts to, you know, if he has a certain number of debuffs on him, he becomes debuff immune, stuff like that. But no worries there. Okay, so here I have a 6-star tech champion on Bane, and I see Yondu here a lot, which nowadays I'm very excited about, because I fear not a Yondu at this point, which is super awesome. I've progressed in that respect, which is really great. So I'm thinking maybe a Sentinel, but I'm really not sure. I'm not sure who else would be worthy of this node. It's a Green Goblin. Okay, so again, I'm gonna have Danger Sense here. And in this fight, I do make a really boneheaded error, and you will see that, but that is ultimately the reason that this fight is at normal speed instead of sped up. I could have sped up the other parts of the fight, but chose not to. So really, I've said in the past, my strategy is to bait L1s, or L2s I mean, because they're so easily evadable, and then the first and second component I dodge, and then for whatever reason, just a complete like mindless. I don't even know what excuse to make there, but I just rush in after that second component. I know that he has that third component where he throws the poison bomb, but regardless, I take one hit. I think it dropped Blade down to. I didn't see. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention, but I think it dropped down to about 75%. So lost about 20% just off of that mistake. Not really a big deal, but okay. So here, guys, we had an initial go at this Medusa, and normally the guy that takes you know, first dibs on the Medusa fight, he normally puts in work, but she's tricky, man, and sometimes she gets you even if you know exactly what you're doing, and I think that was the case here. So I am second to attack if the first attack doesn't go very well, because I have the 565 Magik. So I am just going to throw on some boosts. I back out so that I could put boosts on without that little fight menu timer. It makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Like, what if I don't know, what if I get frozen out or something? I don't know, but so this is just being cautious. But back out, and I'm going to throw on the 200% power, and then the 12% special boosts, and then of course here I'm doing the advanced power boost. I think going forward I might try invulnerability against Medusa. I've seen that used. Both are effective. But as you know, at this point, the only thing to worry about when you're using Magik, or the only thing to concern yourself with, the only strategy, is just to get to an L3 as quickly as possible, so that you can nullify Medusa's Fury stacks, her living strands, and really that's the strategy here. So I am almost at an L3. So I'm going to get in a full combo here, and then I'm going to hold off on launching that L3 until she actually has that third special, or I'm sorry, that third Fury stack. Then I'm going to launch the L3. It's going to nullify all of her active buffs. It doesn't affect passive buffs. and then does a little extra damage. So a lot of damage, which is great. She's down to 46% health, and because of that 200% power, or I'm sorry, special boost that I'm using, and Mystic Dispersion, which is 5 out of 5 in this fight, I am right back at an L3, which is great. So I am just waiting on her to proc Living Strands, and then I'm going to rip her with that L3 again. And here, because of Mystic Dispersion, that first L3, I had some extra buffs that were in there that I got to nullify, and because I didn't in this case, I didn't go back to an L3, but right really close to an L2. So again, here it's just waiting out her Living Strands. I'm gonna pop one, and because she still has those buffs active, and I want to get as much damage as possible, I'm throwing that L3 again. And you see, man, she's starting to get really stingy. Her health, she is taking some hits. She also has a really huge health pool at 565, especially noted as the boss. I mean, she's a really tough defender. So, boom, I'm gonna pop her real fast, and then I'm gonna slice her up with this L3. I don't think that this is gonna finish her, even though we're in Assassin's range. Man, she's just really tanky here, but I should be able to get in a full combo here and wipe her out. I do. So, clean fight against Medusa. You guys notice, I had a 30% champ boost, all of those special boosts, and a 565 Magik, and went into the fight. She was at 70% health, just over 70% health, and even with all of that, the odds kind of heavily in my favor there, I still required about 2.5 minutes to take her out. So that is just a testament to how freaking huge and tanky she is. But in this war, I did get one of the MVPs, which is great. And then Gent Jacob and Flipperoo, both former 3 Loki people, as I am, rounding out the top 3. So here is the stat page. That is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm just gonna let this play out, and then I did throw on an extra graphic here at the end to most properly credit the music that I use. You know, check these artists out if you're not familiar with them and if you like the music. If not, don't worry about it, obviously. And guys, leave a like or a comment. And if there are any other graphics that you want to see, let me know and I'll try to make that happen. Thanks for watching.